Good morning, church. Today I want to talk to you about the helmet of salvation. Many of you realize that a few years back I went through a very, very difficult time in my life, and out of the experience of sailing through some very tumultuous times, God helped me to write a book called The Lancing of My Soul. And in the book, I share the experiences of God teaching me or reteaching me how to put on each piece of his armor as I went through these difficulties. And so I've chosen the helmet of salvation to share with you today. And I'm going to read from chapter 16 of my book, The Lancing of My Soul. And then I'm going to share with you how God taught me about putting on this helmet of salvation. So this is from chapter 16, The Lancing of My Soul, starting at page 163. One of the many great encouragements God graciously gave me through this painful journey was a powerful dream to give me a taste of my future destiny. While Paul's visions were much more powerful and his revelations much deeper, my dream of heaven nevertheless sank the anchor of hope firmly in my own soul, giving me great encouragement to keep moving forward in my healing journey. God sent this dream as I was teaching my congregation from the book of 1 Peter. He would send this dream when the winds, waves, and darkness of my storm were quite fierce. One night as I fell asleep, I suddenly found myself in the most beautiful place I'd ever seen. Instantly, I knew this beautiful place to be heaven. While I didn't see God, angels, or any palaces or streets paved with gold, I knew intuitively I was in God's peaceful eternity. I was surrounded by the most beautiful hues of blue that were eternally deep. Interestingly, I always wondered as a child how I could be in a place forever, including heaven, and enjoy it free of anxieties. The concept of forever freaked me out. Worry was such a part of me that I wondered how I could be in a place forever without anxiety scratching my soul. The promise of an unspoiled, emotionally unscathed existence in heaven was something I had accepted by faith. Many times as I imagined eternity, I had to go on the fact that since God lives forever and wasn't touched or spoiled by anxiety, I could trust that he could so work his magic of permanent peace in me when I arrived for my eternal stay. Yet thoughts of eternity often struck worry pangs in my soul. Here I was in this dreamy place of beauty and inner rest, which I knew to be symbolic of heaven. In my dream, however, I felt as if I were really there. As God's peace was surrounding me and infusing me internally, I remember saying something to myself like, I could easily be here and enjoy this place forever. There were two reasons I said this. First, I felt a sense of cleanliness course through me, washing away all the impurities of my sin and its soul-corrupting consequences. I had never in my earthly life felt so existentially clean from sin and its effects in and upon me. In this whole process God was taking me through, I had tastes of inner cleanliness, which was growing in my body and soul. Yet this cleanliness made me feel, as C.S. Lewis once put it, deliciously clean. Nothing on earth compared with this taste of being so deliciously clean. This inner cleanliness was no doubt what God was performing in me in this growth deliverance process and will be my permanent state of feeling when I arrive in heaven for glorification. Holiness in heaven will not only be the absence of impurity, but it positively will be a felt cleanliness that will send permanent joy cascading through the soul. In my dream also came a total freedom from all anxieties and fears which had tormented me throughout my life. I was totally free of any anxiety and fear that had bullied me relentlessly from childhood. For a delicious moment in my dream of heaven, I was both clean and free as never before. How beautiful was this taste of how I would feel in heaven for all eternity. As this dream ended, I awoke to this clear message impressed upon me from the Lord, that this cleanliness and freedom is my ultimate destiny in Jesus. What a hope I could now use as an anchor for my soul in the inner turbulence that seemed to rock my every waking moment. This was what I could look forward to in heaven. With this anchor of hope set my soul, I could patiently wade through these tumultuous seas, keeping my eyes of faith on this lighthouse of hope towards which I was sailing. To make heaven's hope even more enticing, cleanliness and freedom are only two of the many emotional jewels awaiting me in heaven. So, I think Paul really sums up what the helmet of salvation is. In 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 8, he says, "But since we belong to the day, let us be sober, having put on the breastplate of faith and love, and for a helmet, the hope of salvation." Can you understand with me what Paul is saying? That no matter what kind of turbulences we're going through, no matter what kind of storms we're sailing through, no matter how dark things are, Satan wants to come at God's people. And he wants to come at our heads, the most vital of vital organs that we have. And he wants to come at us and say, you have no hope. And in response to that, we put on the helmet of salvation. And we say, by faith, we believe that we're sailing towards a destiny in Jesus that's going to give us an inner cleanness and an inner freedom and an inner healing and a glory that is beyond anything this world can offer. And so when Satan wants us to feel as though salvation is not ours, hope is not ours, heaven is not ours, and as he attacks us to feel as though we're hopeless, we by faith put on the helmet of hope that Jesus has given to us in our salvation realities. And we say by faith, no, Satan, this is what we're sailing towards. 1 Peter 1:13 is the verse that I would quote to actually put on this helmet of hope. Peter says, "Therefore, preparing your minds for action and being sober-minded, set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ." Quoting this verse, believing it to become true, meditating on it deeply, along with remembering these tastes of inner cleanliness and freedom, which will be enjoyed in their fullness, all protected my mind with future salvation realities. This is how the helmet is actually put on as we sail through life's storms, the storms of life. This is how our hope becomes an anchor for our souls.